one day, this guy who he banged clearly. At least now I know. But at that time, I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with this dude?" But he had gotten into a car accident. So I know you know the car wash I'm talking about. It's the one right next to the barber shop next to Jordan. Yeah. So he had gotten into a car accident. A tow truck came and they towed it into the car wash to just get it out the street. My grandpa knew the guy driving the tow truck. So at this point, my grandpa was like probably 64, 65 or whatever. And he goes up to the guy and they start talking. He's like, "Hey," guy was Hispanic. He's like, "Hey, amigo, what's going on?" He's like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And he starts talking. He's like, "Yeah, you know," he's like, "Yeah, a really bad accident and everything." The guy who was in the car or whatever, he comes from the side, right? And this nigga's probably, at that point, he was probably either 19, 20 or whatever. And he comes up and he looks at my grandpa and he's like, "Ayo, nigga." He's like, stay the fuck out of my business before I smoke your ass. And, like, I looked at him, right? And this is me as a kid. But I knew, I was like, whoa. And, like, I love my grandpa. Like, I idolized my grandpa. He was everything to me. So as that, I was like, the fuck? Or whatever, right? And then my grandpa was like, "Okay, man, okay. No problem and everything." And he walked away, right? I can easily say from that day, that made me way more cold-hearted than anything I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
Because to me, I was like, this person who looks like me would harm my grandpa.
Right.
For what? He didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing. And literally that made me more of, people want to say like stupid shit today or cool terms, savage or all that other shit. That made me more of an animal than anything I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like, and it sucks because, like, I haven't done, like, a lot of crazy shit, but I've done some fucked up shit, right? And I look back at it, and it always sucks because I'm like, I instantly regret it afterwards. I'm like, I shouldn't have done that or whatever. Or, like, especially if I get mad at something or a situation because I can't control my anger from shit like that. And that's where I feel like we do suffer from certain types of things because in the hood, it's okay to get mad. Getting mad is cool.
Right.
Like,
it's so normal.
It's normal. Yeah. So like, if like when niggas mad, we've all been to it. When niggas mad, they be like, "Oh, this nigga heated, man. This nigga, he about to go off and everything like that." And it's like, it's celebrate, like, yeah, let's do some shit or whatever.
Right.
And then like now, it's like you can't do that, and that's why it's always funny because when you tell me stories about like you being out and shit happening. I look at you like, and my mom like, "This nigga, wow." I'm like, I would not be doing that, but of course, I still do stupid shit. So I'm like. Oh, it's just where we came from.
I'm learning the older I get, and I forget where I got this term from, but it was like he's an intellectual bully, and I remember hearing somebody say that about somebody else, and I was like, oh shit, I want to be like that because he would handle confrontation and he would make somebody feel so stupid, and he was so smart, so he'd be like, "So what you're telling me is this?" And the person would start stuttering like, "No, what I'm saying is," and then he would just like make them feel so dumb, and I'm like, I want to get to that point. Nothing physical, no harm, just being able to outwit somebody. You're really good at that shit because you're quick on your feet. Me, like somebody makes me mad, I'm just like baby, go fuck you then. Like I want to get mad. Meanwhile, Mark's like quick with it. I'm trying to get to that point.
It's because I don't know. You beat someone up, a lot of shit could happen to you. But if you make someone feel dumb. Using their own words,
it lasts forever.
It lasts so much longer. They'll be thinking about it every now and then for years.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. Exactly.
But even on a smaller scale, the shit that is normal because like on our street, I remember that kid that used to stand outside that house that lived across the street.
Oh yeah, I don't like him. It was
but you know, there was a few. I hope you know which one I'm talking about. But like he got shot. I don't know if you were there. Yeah, he got shot on the corner, and I had heard the gunshot, and I went outside and I saw him like laying on the floor. And I remember just like right back in my house and sitting on the couch because what the fuck am I gonna do? I knew if I went outside
on the floor below the windows.
Right? I knew if I went outside, my dad would be like, "Get the fuck inside the house." And I was already like, old enough to understand like that has nothing to do with me. There's nothing I could do. I guarantee you, anybody in my industry now, or like, let's say somebody that grew up in a nicer area would be outside. What's going on? Call the cops. You fucking like, don't get involved. Yeah. Do not get involved.
Don't let your face be seen.
Right. And to us, that's so normal. But to them, it's like, well, we gotta help. We gotta call the police. And I'm like, no. Or like, I remember being in I used to go to Sac State, and our first apartment, there was some party going on downstairs with this like Latin fraternity. And
Bad bitches?
Probably. We were upstairs just having fun, and we had this recruit, big old Samoan dude from East Oakland.
Okay.
And so East Oakland, you know, if anybody that doesn't know, is hood as fuck and like real, but like, you know, he was the coolest motherfucker I ever met, man. We were hanging out, just chopping it up, big Samoan dude. And Latin dudes downstairs started getting into some fight. They were woofing. They were from Sacramento. Sacramento's a nice area, so like they were just woofing. Nobody was actually gonna fight.
Right.
This dude, what was his name? Reagan, I think his name was. Reagan goes downstairs, and just because he wanted to, got into it with like some Latin dude. Just for fun. He was like, hey, man, hey, what's going on, man? And the Latin dude is hella drunk, and he's like, well, this motherfucker's tripping, and this motherfucker's tripping. And Reagan was like, oh, yeah? And goes, bah! And knocks this motherfucker out. And I mean like you know, for those who don't know a lot of Samoans are like the coolest motherfuckers ever. And do not get into a fight
with
one.
Biggest motherfuckers
and the biggest, like, strongest.
Fuck with Samoans.
Right. Like, they're the coolest people. Just don't cross them, and they'll be your best fucking friends. Shout out to any Polynesian people out there. Drops this motherfucker. Everybody around me, the Latin people, were losing their minds, and I was like, oh. I was like, oh,
Yo,
shit.
Smokey.
Right. Fuck out. And I thought the shit was hilarious. And meanwhile, everybody's like calling the police and losing their shit. And I realized at that moment, like, oh.
I'm not home.
This is not normal to these people.
So why is everyone calling the cops? He'll get up eventually.
Right, he'll be fine. Or another quick instance in Sacramento again. Like, keep in mind, this is the first time I'm outside of Long Beach. I'm outside of like the hood, and I hate saying it like that, but the hood.
Right.
So I'm in school, and we're talking about like growing up, and I remember they were talking about like budgets and like how to budget a home, and I was like, oh well, we spent this much amount of food on a month. And I think it was like, I don't know, a couple hundred. And every white person around me was like, no, man, you must be mistaken. There's no way you guys survived on this much amount of money a month. And I'm like, no, yeah, we absolutely did. And they're like, there's no way. And I'm like, trust me, we just ate a lot of fucking pasta and tortillas and a lot of shit with our meals. Like, this is what it was.
Right.
And they'd be like, oh, you just watch too much TV, Manny. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, my life is normal to me, and to them it's so foreign. And again, I'm not trying to say that I was hood. I never banged. I never sold drugs. I never did anything wrong. I was a good kid that just grew up in like a kind of shitty place.
That's the thing that is funny because none of us like gang bang, sold drugs, none of that shit. But we all were around people, we're friends with people. In my case, I have family who does this shit. And it is normal to us and everything like that. Funny thing you said about the kid who got shot. The same story I told about the guy getting shot, we heard the shots and everything, right? So people start running out, and then I walked to my mom's room real slow, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess someone got shot and everything. And she was like, well. And then my older sister was like, what? We have to call the police, whatever. My mom was like, if you don't sit your ass down, get on that damn phone and say nothing to nobody.
Yeah.
But she was my older sister, she's really weird. She's very, I don't want to say white, but she's very white, even though we grew up in the same place. I don't get it. But she tries to be a civilian in the worst moments, so you just can't do that. But
you just made me think of one more story. Can
okay, go ahead.
Real quick before the next question. Little house parties and shit that we used to go to in high school, and we would get in my boy Eric's shitty little old a 1970s Malibu.
Damn,
shitty car, yeah.
You was in high school in the 90s. You said 70s?
No, the fucking car.
I know what I'm saying. Like,
oh, yeah.
Damn. Nigga was broke.
It was a shitty car, right? Sorry. And then we go to these house parties, and inevitably some shit happens, whether it gets shot up and for anybody that doesn't understand the term, like, nobody would actually get shot. Somebody would just go to the party to shoot up into the sky to break up the party, which is just a really fucked up thing to do.
But it was normal.
It's very mean. It's very mean. And then, so anyway, this was a normal thing. And then, what the fuck is his name? Somebody new hung out with us one day. And, you hear that sound?
Yeah.
There you go. Latin dude came and hung out with us one night, and the party got shot up. But this time you could actually see the motherfucker, and I think he might have been shooting at somebody, but you could see the shit. Right. Everybody breaks. We all get in the car. This motherfucker was in the car hyperventilating, like, he had a fucking gun. Like, he had a gun. Did you guys see it? And we're like, yeah. Like, you want to go to Norm's? Like, we were going to go to and we're like, and don't mistake it, like, we're all shook, of course, but it was like, well, yeah, like, we're safe. We're not there no more. Let's go eat. But he was like hyperventilating, and I'm like, it was like these little moments in my life where I was like, oh, wow, this shit is not normal. So yeah, it's PTSD like a motherfucker because we have to relearn how to be normal in the world as an adult.
When that was going on, was there a part of you that was like, man, quit being a bitch?
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, hell
That's
yeah.
what I'm talking about.
Oh, my God.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, my God. That just blew my mind.
Like, that's what we go through, and it's like, he was in the right the whole way. We were all crazy. Like, we're all
my
insane.
God. That just blew my mind because that's exactly what I thought. And everybody was like, yo, shut the fuck up. Oh, my God. Damn, that shit.